Now I go on Steam and I look at the Elden Ring DLC reviews. And the first thing that I notice is that it's got mixed reviews. Like, this is very bizarre. It's a FromSoft game. Like, this DLC was hyped up. Everyone said nice things about it. Why is it getting such bad reviews? And as I look at the first ones, it's like, oh, it's too hard. It's too hard. Game is too hard. And it seems like that is the genuine consensus on Twitter. But I found it difficult to believe. I mean, it is a franchise renowned for its difficulties, so there must be something else that's there. And I did some investigating, and it turns out that a lot of people are complaining about the camera angles, a lot of people are complaining about stuttering, which, is legitimate complaint. But still, like, the concept that it's too hard, is shared by many. So, I got to see this on Dexerto, which is Asmongold saying that the game is too hard. Let's see what he actually has to say. Well, let's listen to it.
Are you done with the game? I might give it maybe another day. Like, I don't know, but like
In context, he didn't drop it. Like, he's actually picking it up again, and he's trying a new build. We're going to talk about that in a bit, but the publication Dexerto is suggesting that he quits, right? It's not exactly what happened.
I think I'm pretty much done. Yeah. Yeah, I am. I think that the DLC is too hard for it to be fun. Like when every single attack combo like stuns you and then you're locked into an animation and then you get insta killed. I just like I can beat it, and of course I could beat it, but I just don't really want to. I don't want to sit through 100 attempts or 50 attempts on every boss where it's like you have to dodge like a 5 attack.
Right, so I think I need to tell you something that a lot of people don't realize. Playing a video game on a stream is entirely different than playing a video game by yourself. In fact, there were a couple of video games that I liked so much that I just didn't want to stream. And I understand that many people make fun of Dark Side Phil, but you guys don't understand what the man is going through. Listen, when you stream, it's not just about playing the game, it's also about playing it and trying to be entertaining for the chat. So a lot of the focus that would genuinely be challenged for you to complete the game is diverted over the fact that you also have to entertain the chat and you also have to interact with the chat. You gotta read the chat while playing the game. You gotta respond to the chat. You gotta read the super berries. You gotta do all these things. And it makes the game even harder. So when you're playing a hard game and you're adding that extra layer of difficulty, a lot of people just don't understand how insanely complex it is. So that's just number one. Number two is like, have you ever played a video game where you have a backseat gamer? Or like, have you tried driving a car where you have someone else on the backseat and is telling you how to drive? It's infuriating, right? But surely, like, you can block it off. Like, you can. But, like, imagine that it's not just one person. It's 100 people. It's 1,000 people. It's 10,000 people. In the case of Asmongold. And all those people are, laughing at you, mocking you, ridiculing you every single time you die. And you can block it off. But imagine that happens constantly for, like, 7 hours. Like, it's a huge toll. It's very difficult to focus. And sure, it's part of the job to block it off, but trust me, like, at one point it will get to you. Like, if you never had an annoying brother or an annoying sibling just sit behind you as you're playing and go like, you died. You died again. It is, emotionally taxing, let's put it like this, right? So, the thing with, Elden Ring is that it's not even that rewarding when you get past the boss. Like, you don't get rewarded with a huge cutscene. You don't get rewarded with an extra story. It's just like you complete it and you move on. So, yeah, it is not enjoyable. I do understand, like, streaming these types of games where you die constantly and the chat constantly mocks you or demoralizes you. Like, sometimes you can die so much and then you just notice people drop off from the chat. It's like trying to mix business and pleasure. You know, like certain games are excellent for streaming, but games that are incredibly difficult and taxing, I would say not so much. Now, why is it that this DLC is particularly difficult, right? Like, why are so many people, including the ones that enjoy Elden Ring, why are they complaining about this particular DLC to the point where they're willing to even give negative reviews? Well, for number one is that the DLC actually scales with you. So in Elden Ring, a lot of encounters which are difficult, you can trivialize them if you grind. So you go back, you grind a little bit, you overpower your character, especially if you put a lot of points in vitality, and then you go and you beat the boss, right? You can't do that with this DLC. Like, this DLC levels up with you, so no matter how much you grind, you're still going to have that issue. The second one is that certain builds aren't good. This is why Asmongold is actually choosing a different build. Is due to the fact that if you played by a specific build, it's not impossible to complete the DLC, but it is excruciatingly difficult compared to other builds. So people who have chosen those builds are going to have an easier time through the DLC. It's not really fair, but it is what it is. And it is, again, like part of the demoralizing thing, because someone with a different build looks at a boss and say, oh wow, like, why are you struggling? Why is this so difficult? Like, I managed to BTFO this boss within the first couple of tries. And it's like they're not taking into account that it's a different playstyle and different build. And then you also have, like, yeah, like the stun mechanics. I really hate them. In every single game where you lose control of your character, that's not something fun. I do not know why developers keep adding them this. Like, in a multiplayer game where, you know, crowd control is important, like, that's okay, because it's, like, part of the gameplay mechanic. You know, you have, like, a character that's not doing a lot of DPS, but he's crowd controlling, so that's great. But I don't understand, like, why is it in a single-player game a thing, right? Where you lose control of your character is the most annoying stuff ever. And most of the bosses, yeah, like, they do 2 shots or 3 shots, and it's very annoying, let's put it like that, right? So this is why people are complaining. It's the fact that if they don't have the correct build, it doesn't work. If their strategy was to keep grinding until they outpowered the boss, that doesn't work. And if you're a streamer and, you know, you try to enjoy the game, you try to actually play it to have fun, but you have like 1,000 backseat gamers laughing and mocking you, it's not really entertaining. Like, you can do it, as Asmongold said it, and I have seen Asmongold play these types of games, and I do think that he can actually do it. But at the same time, yeah, like, if he has several games to choose from, or different streams that he can make, why would he make the thing that he doesn't like? Although, it does seem that he has decided to change the build and press on. He's not going to Darkside Fill it, like Darkside Fill actually gave up during Bloodborne DLC at the first boss. That one, that is like a dick move from the developers, like putting the hardest boss right at the entrance. It's like, if you beat that boss, you know that the other bosses are going to be smooth sailing. It's like, why would you do that? Anyway, right, let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.